Hello, welcome to an introduction to Yin Yoga with yours truly, Andra. I'm a teacher at Wild Lotus Yoga in New Orleans, Louisiana. If you've never practiced Yin Yoga before, I'd like to take this opportunity to talk with you a little bit about the practice and how you can set yourself up for success. First of all, in Yin Yoga, we follow 4 principles that you will hear me talk a lot about in each and every class. The first principle is to honor the edge, meaning we just don't go too far too quickly. We take our time, sense into the body, and respond to our body based on what we feel. The second principle of Yin Yoga is, to the best of your ability, relax the muscles in the targeted area. Now, in different postures and on different days, you might feel different sensations or stress or stretch in different parts of the body, even within the same pose. That's pretty normal, but wherever you feel the stimulation, you actually want to relax the muscles there. And if after relaxing you develop pain or discomfort, or it's just too intense, that's a sign that we need to step back, honoring that edge, the first principle of Yin Yoga. The third principle of Yin Yoga is to hold the postures relatively still for a relatively long period of time. The key word here is relatively, meaning while we don't want to be fidgeting the whole time, we do want to be able to settle in to the posture and sustain the shape, sustain the stimulation. And as far as timing, some people in some poses on some day will be able to hold some poses longer, some shorter, and that's normal. So at any time, if you need to come out of the posture before I cue, please do so. And also, if you want to stay a little longer, you can choose that as well. The fourth principle of Yin Yoga is that we're really mindful as we enter and exit and deepen a posture. So we're just going to move slowly, which brings us back to that first principle of Yin Yoga of honoring our edge. There's a few props that you might want throughout the practice, and it'll depend on the day. You can use a lot of things that you find at home, including blankets, towels, pillows, couch cushions, and throw pillows. Chairs and furniture, sometimes even a coffee table can be helpful. Boxes or buckets or other relatively sturdy things might be able to be used. And of course, if you do have traditional yoga props, blocks, blankets, bolsters, those are nice to have as well. But I always think it's a lot easier to experience this practice as opposed to talking about it. So I'm going to share one introduction pose to you, and we'll talk about those 4 principles as we enter it. We're going to come into a pose that's called butterfly, and in Yin Yoga, we actually name the postures differently than in our sister Hatha style yoga practices. And the main reason for that is that the intention is different behind the poses, and we get something different out of them, thus a different name. But you're more than welcome to elevate the sitting bones, and we actually want to be on the sitting bones to start, not tucked under. So if you have the tendency to be rounded already, go ahead and take a blanket or 2 and just lift up those sitting bones. Again, bring the bottoms of the feet together, and you might even want just a little bit of softness underneath the ankles, especially if you're not on a carpet or you're on a hard floor. Now we want to move the feet into a position where we have absolutely no stimulation in the knee. And throughout this pose, if you do begin to develop stimulation, you're going to want to come out of it or move the feet again. There's not a right or a wrong as far as the placement of the heels relative to the pelvis, but I do invite you to explore different variations, because feet close versus far away will stimulate different tissues within the body. And even if after you've moved your legs or supported your sitting bones, you have some sensation in the knees, you can take a block or a box and support the thighs. We're going to come into a forward fold here, and we're going to explore those 4 principles within this brief practice. So when you're ready, on an exhale, simply fold forward and first principle playing the edge, meaning that when you start to feel a little pull or tug of resistance, just stop there. Relax the muscles of your face and notice how you're breathing. When we're looking to stimulate the tissues, we want that sensation to be mild to moderate, 2 to 4 on a scale of 10. So something that is sustainable. A lot of people feel this in the low back, the hips, the glutes, the inner or outer thighs. What I invite you to notice is where you do feel the stimulation, and then relax the muscles in that targeted area. Again, if you're feeling pain or strain, or even just sensation in the knees, please back out a little bit. And keeping those muscles soft, find stillness and hold. Some people might be bringing their hands to their thighs, their shins, their ankles. Some people might even be able to bring the forearms down to the floor. And if you're kind of halfway in between, you can use one of your props that's sturdy to support your forearms, or perhaps even your forehead. Now, relative to that idea of stillness, as time progresses, your body will most likely be willing to go a little deeper. So if it happens naturally on an exhale, or perhaps if you just find yourself settling down, remember those 4 principles. Honoring the edge. As you go deeper and the stimulation maybe moves, soften the muscles in the targeted area. Explore stillness and holding. And if you do continue to go deeper or come out of the pose a little bit, be mindful and move slowly. And then within the shape, make sure you're breathing. And cultivate an easy breath. In addition of that stimulation of mild to moderate, 2 to 4 on a scale of 10, I encourage you to be in a shape that allows your breath to flow easily and naturally, so that we're not inhibiting one function of the body just to open something else. Tuck the chin in towards your throat. You can let your head hang down. We'll be here for about another minute. Let yourself simply explore and experience whatever is flowing through your senses, honoring the information that your body sends to you. Feel into your body. And taking time, 2, maybe even 3 breaths. Slowly begin to lift your torso up, bringing your spine back into neutral. Relax the muscles of your face. Be here with your breath. And simply acknowledge what your body is feeling. The flood of sensation running through those targeted areas. Thank you for joining me in this introduction to Yin Yoga. I hope to see you in class, virtually, and eventually in the flesh soon.